Welcome to Born for the Trades, a home service podcast, and I'm your host, Mandy Bala, sitting virtually next to my co-host, Shreya.
Hey, everybody.
Today, we dive into transformative world of AI once again and its impact on the home service industry. Our special guest for the second time, Sebastian, founder of Rilla, continues to make a significant mark in the AI and home service industry. Today, we will explore how Sebastian's innovative AI speech analytics technology, Rilla, is revolutionizing how technicians in HVAC, plumbing, and other trades enhance their sales techniques and efficiency. Join us. We uncover the power of AI in driving growth and innovation in the home service sector. Welcome to our show, Sebastian.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mandeep. Thank you, Shreya. Great to see you guys. Excited to be here.
Great to see you too. You got a nice office there for anybody watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sun in his face. Beautiful.
Yeah, I my curtain broke, so I'm actually blind right now, guys. You guys are seeing a man becoming blind in real time. So, but if we gotta do it for the views, man, I'm gonna go blind on camera.
Anything for the views.
Yeah, and it is. I just want to say, people think like, oh, Rilla. They say like, oh, they work so much, blah 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 blah. 5:36 p.m. Eastern time, and the office is full. I don't know if you guys can see with the sun, but everybody's here, man. We're already starting to sweat here, getting hot.
Also, it crushes, like, there's a stereotype, I think, when blue collar workers are thinking of the tech guys, they're thinking they're all working from home, like cozy, stress-free, right? And the way that I see you guys grinding over there, I'm like, I'd rather be in an attic. That's
my good friend Ryan Fenn from Chirp. He came to the Rilla office for the Rilla Labs, our podcast, and he took a picture, and it was like I think it was like a Sunday or something like that, where he was like, people in the office. We work on Sundays, by the way. People come to the office on Sundays.
Nice.
And on Sundays, our building, the landlord in New York, you guys need to hook me up with one of our contractors, our customers. You guys need to help us because our AC does not work in the weekends because the landlord doesn't set it up. So it's literally a sweatshop, on Sundays.
We could totally do that. That should be an easy one.
And so Ryan walks in and he sees all these people sweat, like literally sweating on Sunday. And he takes a picture and he sends it to his employees and he's like, if you guys ever talk trash to me, I'm gonna send you to work for a week at Rilla. and then you come back to me and you complain.
We can definitely help you with that. We have a lot of contacts. And
literally, there's somebody, commercial contracting in New York City, help us put an AC in this damn office, man.
For the listeners, I hope you heard that. Help Sebastian.
Please
get them AC.
Yeah, it's because nobody wants to work and nobody wants to do contracting in New York, man. That's the problem. New York City. So we're like really in the middle. That's the problem.
That's true. It's probably a pain. I can't imagine what it's like. They're just scaling the buildings. They're scaling the buildings, doing mini splits, truthfully, on sky-rise apartments and stuff like that. I would die. I couldn't do it. I'm not that strong. But the other day we were talking a lot when you visited LA about virtual ride-alongs, and I don't think that I understood, the capacity of what's going on there with virtual ride-alongs, and it blew my mind. So I really wanted to ask a lot of questions about that today.
Let's do it.
And I guess I'll start with the virtual ride-along feature of Rilla. So managers can observe and coach their technicians in minutes without being physically present. Can you describe how is something like that possible in layman's terms? Like I'm 5 years old. How is it possible to do a virtual ride-along in minutes? And how many ride-alongs have you completed, do you think, yourself? That's a second
myself
question.
I can literally I've completed, I think I'm getting close to 1,000 ride-alongs. Since I've completed more than 1,000 ride-alongs, but we actually started tracking this in Rilla, and we show you your ride-along metrics. So I'm going to tell you right now, since we started tracking, which was like 2.5 months ago or 3 months ago or something like that, I completed 946 ride-alongs since 3 months ago. So 946 ride-alongs. So I'm usually averaging like 220 ride-alongs a month myself with my sales team. Or like almost like 300 now. But we have managers that are completing like 400, 500, 900 ride-alongs per month, 1,000 ride-alongs per month, right? So you think about that, like they're spending a lot of their time doing ride-alongs. So to answer your first question, How does it, think about that number, 900 ride-alongs a month or 400.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That was not possible before. That was just not, that was impossible. If you are, most service managers and sales managers out there and coaches, you know, if they're honest with themselves, and they are, we ask them like, hey, when was the last time you did a ride-along? I don't know. It's like, how often are you doing ride-alongs? Oh man, not enough as I should be. You know what I mean? They're not doing ride-alongs, right? Like most people, 80% of sales managers, they do it once or twice, and then they don't do it consistently. The great sales managers and the great service managers are doing on average of 2 ride-alongs a week, right? And they're consistent. You know, 2 days out of the week, sometimes maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, right? If you're a performance coach or something like that. If you were spending your entire, you know, waking hours doing physical ride-alongs, the most that you would be able to do as a human being with physical ride-alongs, if you go out there and with the technicians, stuff like that, the most that you would be able to do would be like about 70 ride-alongs a month. 70, because you think about it, you have 20 days, 20 days, and you're doing 3.5 leads a day, right? That's how much a technician can run on average, right? So you're riding along on 3.5 leads a day. That's, you know, times 20 days, right? That gives you 70 ride-alongs a month. So ride-alongs with Rilla, you're doing 400, 500, 900, 1,000. How do you do that? And you're not spending that much time. If you're spending your entire waking hours, which is like 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day doing ride-alongs, you're going to do 70. How do these managers do it? It takes me 3 minutes to do ride-alongs. I do all of my 220 ride-alongs in about 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours a month on Rilla.
Oh wow!
A month,
just 3 minutes.
3 minutes per ride, 3 minutes per ride-along, because that's the big unlock here. When you do a physical ride-along, it usually takes you between 3 hours and 4 hours.
Right.
Because you have to drive to the appointment, you have to listen to the whole thing, then you have to give the technician feedback, right? That entire process takes you 3 to 4 hours, right? So if you take 3 hours on the conservative side, that's 180 minutes. You take that down to 3 minutes, that's a 50 times improvement in the speed, a 50 times, right? Because 180 over 3, that's 50 times. So how do you make the sales managers more effective? How do you get that 50x increase? You would think, okay, with the recording, you get an uptick, right? Because you don't have to drive it. So if you record the conversation, you're going to do it faster because you don't have to drive there. So you save yourself the 30 minutes or hour of drive time. But you still have to listen to the whole thing. And if it's a 2-hour appointment, you still have to do it in 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Then you can start transcribing. And transcribing is going to make it a little faster. It's going to cut the time by half because you can search for keywords and phrases and stuff like that. And so you're going to cut it from like 3 to 4 hours to 1 hour. But then that's still an hour, right? You still can't spend 400 hours and 900 hours a month doing ride-alongs. That's not possible, right? It was like 800, 800 divided by 4, that's like 200 hours a week. You don't have that much time to do 200, 400 hours of ride-alongs. You don't have the time. So how do you go from 1 hour to 3 minutes? That's the key question, right? Because that's, you know what I mean? That's still a 20 times improvement. So how do you do that? You have to use AI. And what the AI does is a lot of, when you go to a ride along, how much of that time how much of that actual time is there something interesting happening, right? Like, so much of the time is like them doing an inspection and then they interact with the customer for like maybe like 30 minutes and then you have to wait there, right, for something interesting to happen, right? So how do we lower the time? What we try to design at Rilla is like, how do we lower the time that it takes you to find the interesting stuff so that you could actually get feedback really quickly, right? And so what we did is we trained our AI over millions and millions and millions of home service conversations to identify what are the interesting moments. And as a manager, we have a really nice little workflow where you could just go to those very interesting moments at the speed of light, 3 minutes. You have an AI assistant that you can literally ask questions. We call them Rick AI. You can literally ask questions like, oh, what happened in this appointment? Where are the objections? How many questions per minute did the rep ask? And the AI will tell you everything you need to know. So it's like you have an assistant that's telling you all the different things that happen. If the workflow doesn't include what you want, you can ask the AI like, hey, did you talk about financing? Did they mention the membership plan? And it's just going to tell you immediately without you having to listen to the whole hour or 2 hours. And that, by having AI-enabled virtual ride-alongs, right? Because you could do a virtual ride-along that's just a recording, just a transcription, but when you include AI assistant into the ride-along, that's how you can go all the way down to 3 minutes per ride-along, right? So
wow.
Yeah.
And that's what blew my mind, because I guess what I was used to is hearing about all of this, but it was just like the transcription of the entire call and recordings. And you know what? I did that on my phone 5 years ago. And so I'm like, okay, I mean, cool that it's written down, I guess, and it's a mess a little bit, but this is the distinction between AI and a recording or transcription tool. Is that kind
Yes.
of what you're getting at? There's a very big difference. It's filtering all of the stuff that I don't need to know, and it's just showing me the things that I do need to know about the sales call to properly coach that technician.
1000%. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's not only just allowing you to see what's interesting. Like, for instance, it shows you all the context. Like when I go to a ride along on Rilla, immediately I can give feedback without even, like, I'll do an example right now. If I can share my screen, is it going to show on the camera if I share my screen?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can do that. I just allowed. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay,
Oh, that would be
perfect.
cool.
Yeah.
So like if I go on here, I can literally go and see what my reps did right and wrong. Immediately here, I see that he only did 10 out of the 11 steps. So immediately I can give him feedback and be like, hey man, why did you not ask them where they heard about us, right?
Wow, that's amazing.
Right, in seconds, because I already identified
Mhm.
that they didn't do something. Here, right, I see that he did the agenda, but he got a 4 out of 5, right? A lot of, and this is one of my reps, by the way. And so
Okay.
it says here the sales rep did a good job. So a lot of home service contractors, right? You have the curbside pickup evaluation or the scorecard that you do with your ride-alongs, where you rate them from a 1 to a 5. You not only want to know if they did the greeting and they talked about the truck parked okay, you want to know if they did it right. You want to know if they did it right.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
here, I could see that he got a 4 out of 5. So it says the sales rep did a good job of covering most of the points from the script. They mentioned the demo duration, 5-10 minute demo, the Q&A session, and discussing next steps. However, the rep did not explicitly ask if this agenda sounds fair to the customer, which is a key part of the script.
Wow.
Because I tell all my salespeople, ask the customer if that agenda sounds fair to them, so that you could get their commitment. And so
Right.
he didn't do that little piece, and it gave him a 4 out of 5. So I already know that, and without having to listen to anything, I already know that it's like a little pointers here that he missed out on. Right?
So that's the like AI score, and like prompting is
Yes.
right there with
Boom.
Oh,
You know
wow.
what I mean? You get the score immediately without you don't have to score yourself manually. But what we like to do at Rilla, we build product in such a way, is like we want to let the machines do the machine things, right? So the
Yeah.
numbers and the scoring and the tracking, let the machine do that. Let that machine take care of all of that for you. And so you can focus on what the humans do best, which is the feedback and the coaching and the getting them to improve and getting the feedback to seep through their heads, right? That's what you want to do as a coach, right? And so we do all the heavy lifting so you can actually just focus on giving the feedback, just like I did with Conrad. Hey man, you didn't set the agenda properly. What happened here? Bam. And now we're having feedback.
I love it. Striving for perfection there.
Love it.
Yeah, I just did that's an actual ride along that I did. That's an actual feedback that I just, in seconds, I just did it live. It's very, very quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to ask something like adoption of like new technology can sometimes meet resistance. What strategies have proven effective in getting entire teams consistently engaging with like using Rilla?
Yeah. So and with any kind of new technology, there's people, often overlook the amount of learning and work that goes into just implementing the technology, right? I heard a great CTO from a great home improvement company, West Shore Home. I saw him speak at a show, and the CTO said, technology is great at making things move faster, right? Virtual ride-alongs, you could do it 50 times faster. If you have bad processes in your company, technology will make those bad processes faster. They will be faster at being bad. If you have great processes in your companies and you have great systems in place and you add technology to that, it'll make those great systems and great processes better, right?
100%,
So
100%.
So as a business, before you implement any new technology, this is not just virtual ride-alongs, not just AI, anything, you have to make sure you have great implementation processes, great culture, great management, great leadership, so you can actually implement the processes correctly. And so I'll give you an example. One of our customers in Texas, they implemented one of these automated call center technologies, right? One of these automated call center technologies that answers the phone for you. It has the conversation automatically, and they launched it. And one of the things that they didn't realize is that the call center automated call center wasn't integrated with the dispatch. So when the call center was saying to the customer, yes, we can be there tomorrow at 4 p.m., it wasn't booking the appointment. So next day they got so many angry calls and messages of customers like, you booked an appointment with me and you didn't come, blah, blah, blah. And then they had to, right? So that was not a technology. The technology did what it was supposed to do. It was a process thing. They didn't make sure that their process was streamlined with this new technology. And what you're often going to find is that you're going to have to be really savvy as an entrepreneur to build your processes around the new technologies. How does that look like with virtual ride-alongs, right? People think, some people, our customers don't think that, but some people, when they come to Rilla, they think that Rilla's an AI coach. That, hey, I don't need a sales manager. It's like, I'm going to use Rilla, and I'm like, we're like, hey, no. We're like, no. We're like, what? No. So, and they're like, yeah, because it's going to score it automatically, and the reps are going to see the technicians, and we're like, yeah, okay. So who's going to tell them to do it right? Yes, right. They're not going to listen to the AI. They're not going to sit there for a one-on-one meeting and actually review all their numbers and look at all the data and make the data actionable for them. They're not going to do that, right? They're not actually going to give them qualitative feedback about the tone of their voice and actually how they, it's not going to do any of these things that the human beings are really good at. So if you don't have a sales manager with Rilla that knows how to operate the tool to actually coach, it's not going to be successful. So if you're implementing a virtual ride-along program, no, people thought that, like, in our website we have a very cheeky kind of marketing. It says the end of ride-alongs, the end of ride-alongs. but what you realize is that with Rilla, you're doing more ride-alongs than you were doing before, because you're not doing 10 a month or 2 a month. You're doing 500 a month. You know what I mean? You're doing 900. You're doing more. So you need people to do that. And so you need great management structure, right? The best sales managers that were great before Rilla, they're even greater without Rilla. You enhance the natural capability. You can now have one of those champion sales managers, one of those champions coaches, service managers, who now became 50 times, 100 times more productive at their job, right? So that person with this process now became awesome. If it's a sales manager, right? Imagine you have a bad sales manager who's doing 900 ride-alongs. And they're giving bad feedback. Wow, that's so bad. So you have to have great talent, that doesn't change, right? Business principles. So but what you can do now with this technology is you can start building your business around it, because now your awesome sales manager, you don't have to hire them on the location, because we have customers who have literally their job title is remote AI coach, and they are sales managers and coaches that get hired from all over the world, all over the country, and they coach people remotely. And now you can have one of them coaching 30 people or 50 people because they're so much more effective at their job, right?
I want to give a special shout out to Rilla, the sales coaching AI software that holds the technicians accountable and gives them the support and guidance they need to maximize all the opportunities you spend your hard-earned money on. Our friends at Elite Call, the outbounding specialists, a service that brings wasted leads and brings them back to life to create more opportunity and keep the dispatch board full, integrate them right there into Service Titan for you.
I want to give special shout out to Grow Reviews, one of our sponsors, America's first platform to capture instant text and video reviews. If a picture is 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000. Book a demo with Grow Reviews by visiting website www.growreviews.com, and you can get in touch with their sales reps to book a demo. That's amazing. So making sure that before implementing any AI, I think you have to have good sales managers, systems and processes in place, and then go for any AI thing to implement.
And talking about a process. Some people come to us and they don't even have a process that they make their technicians follow. So
it's like there's no sales process. Maybe the best salesperson is also the worst salesperson, sort of thing. You can't skip all of these things and replace it with an AI system, but you could support and maximize it exponentially, beyond
1,000%.
human capability, once you have those core processes in place.
Why could I go into my call and see that Conrad didn't set the agenda? Because I had a process. I knew exactly what feedback to give him, because I know what I was tracking. I know why it's important to me, to my process. And I see that he didn't do it. And you think, and who told the AI what to look for? I told my AI, make sure that they're saying, does that sound fair, right? Because I have a process, right? So the same thing, contractors, when they have processes, I can tell, even with Rilla, there's some managers who are new to their companies, and it takes them 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, even with the AI, because they don't know what they're looking for. To them, it's like, but you have some of the best sales managers at FH Fur, at My Plumber Plus, Tommy Mello. those managers, they do ride-alongs in 2 minutes. We just did a video. We're going to be releasing it soon, where we did virtual ride-alongs in an airplane right before skydiving, and we did virtual.
Wow, that's
and
crazy.
We did and we did virtual ride-alongs. We had to do 6 virtual ride-alongs in 6 minutes or something like that. So it was like 1 minute or 2 minutes per ride-along or something like that. So only a sales manager and service manager that knows what they're looking for can actually use the AI to the best of their capability, right? So if you don't have that, then it's not going to work.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Powerhouse. And I want to ask, this one is an interesting one. Like, I want to ask you, for people looking to implement call by call management, how can Rilla help with this process?
So basically, call by call management, you have essentially a manager that's supporting the technicians on ideally every single call, right? Mm-hmm. And what a lot of the times it looks like is, before Rilla, what you would have is the service manager or the sales manager is on the computer. They're looking at the service time job and seeing it update in real time, and then they're getting calls from the technician, right? Where they're trying to help on the job, right? With Rilla, what you have is you have an opportunity to, if your technicians in the middle of the appointment, if they stop the recording when they go outside, you can get the score of what just happened. So not only do you get what they updated on service time, you get an idea of what was happening there. And because call by call management, the biggest bottleneck is like there's so many calls that are happening all the time. With a tool like this, you actually make the manager so much more able to review many calls at one time. So you can actually solve that bottleneck, because you can have one manager reviewing like dozens of calls, very, very, very quickly. I mean, think about it. If it takes you 3 minutes to do a ride along on Rilla, if you spend, 10 minutes a day, you're going to be able to review 3 calls, right? If you spend 15 minutes a day, you're going to review 5 calls. If you spend 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And if you have a team of like 5 technicians, they're doing like 3 calls each, 15 calls. Well, it's going to take you 45 minutes. 45 minutes. In a day,
on average 3 minutes. On average 3 minutes to do that, right? That's
3 minutes per 3 minutes per call. 3 minutes per call.
That's
and I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, can you even do call by call without Rilla? Because the most common thing that I implement at companies is call by call management and sales training. And I'm starting to realize, like, I guess you could do call by call management. It's just like, without that, it's like, how are you gonna know what's going on? And that's the whole point, is like a sales coach, a manager, and a salesperson wrapped up all in one to do the call by call management. So I think it's getting to a point where it's not possible to do it properly without Rilla at this point. And that's why Joe is at the point where soon the managers will learn how to use Rilla, and Joe Crisera, is coming out with a video series to teach how to properly use this shit,
There you go.
So I'm really excited about that. And, a question that I get about this software often is, and I have it myself, is it ever going to integrate with any other like CRM systems or tools, other apps that they use, maybe like Service Titan? What's the future with that?
So we're already integrated with Service Titan. I think we're like their platinum. We're one of the top sponsor at Pantheon this year.
Okay.
I was gonna say one to be humble.
You always are.
And so we have a great partnership with Service Titan. I think what R and Vahe had built for I'll say this about Service Titan. I think that a lot of the innovations that are happening now in this industry, you see people like Rilla, people like Avoca, people like Conduit Tech, people like Chirp. You see a lot of startups coming into home services, native to home services, which is a new development, right? This didn't used to happen. Like Ara said, I saw Ara speaking at a conference, and he said, when Vahe and I started, he said, we were trying to get the industry up to speed. And now I feel like we're playing catch up because it's moving so fast, right?
Yeah.
Because like there's so many startups that are coming in. Rilla's native to home services. We didn't start. We started growing in home services. We started from very like nascent. You have like Tyson from Avoca, MIT, kids that graduated from MIT, building for home services, native. Shelby from Conduit Tech, from Stanford University, building for home service contractors, native. Like we're not building for anybody else. We're building for home service contractors. Why is that? A big component. Wyatt Smith from Upsmith, who's great kind of great kind of technology for getting your technicians to adopt new behaviors. He used to work at Uber, building for home service contractors. All of this innovation that's happening right now in the market, there's a lot of different reasons, and one of the main reasons was ServiceTitan. What they did for the market, they went to a market that, you know, was so underserved by technology people. Like the people in Silicon Valley completely overlooked, you know, home service contractors for so many years. ServiceTitan came in, and what they did for us, for all the startups out there, is that they really just paved the roads. They literally built these very big roads, and they, with nice, you know, kind of lights, they put lights on the roads, and what we did is we built really fast cars that can drive on those roads. That's
foundation,
what all of us
foundation is set up. Yeah.
And what they did is they, like, contractors are so sophisticated when it comes to technology purchases because they've been dealing with tools like ServiceTitan for so long. They measure their lifetime value. They're so good with data because ServiceTitan, they can do all of these things with ServiceTitan. And so, you know, you look at some of these businesses, they're so sophisticated. Like some of the best marketing organizations in the world are in home services, right? So not even in technology, they're in home services. Some of the best marketing organizations, because they're so good at SEO and all these things, because they have, you know, tools that's like ServiceTitan that allows them to track their marketing. So what we're doing is we're trying to continue on that vein and trying to build alongside ServiceTitan great products and services for contractors. And so one of the things that we're doing now, we have this, I showed you this, Shreya, we have this thing called Rick AI, right?
I love it.
I
started freaking out.
I didn't know about that. What's that?
So this is beta. This isn't beta, but Rick AI, I'm just going to get like I can't show you guys what it is just yet. But Shreya has seen it. But
I was freaking out, Mandy. It's better than Chat GPT. Literally, I was like,
ah. So one of the things we're building with ServiceTitan is we have a chat bot. It's called Rick, and you can ask Rick any questions about your reps, and you could just be like, "Hey, why is my rep Jacob? Why is his conversion rate down? Because I'm going to have a one-on-one meeting with him tomorrow." And what Rick does is it looks at your Rilla data. It looks at your ServiceTitan data, and it says, "Oh, Jacob's conversion rate went from 60% to 30% this month." And then it looks at the Rilla data, and it went from 60% to 30% because there's a new competitor that showed up in the area where Jacob serves, and they're undercutting Jacob on price. And so here's a few examples of the competitors. So it completes the loop for the manager to be able to have not just like very powerful ride-alongs, but very powerful one-on-one meetings with their reps, very powerful sales training meetings. But you can just ask, what are the top objections that are coming up? And so we go from being an analytics product to an assisting product. Like, we're assisting the manager. We're an assistant to them in their day that can help them make better decisions very fast, because they're just asking questions and getting the best answers possible.
So Rick is not just looking into like Rilla data; it's going to ServiceTitan and compiling the data, like, you know, and giving the answer.
Completely.
That's powerhouse.
And you could ask any question. Like, we have some other users outside of outside of sales that are saying like, "Oh, what's my app? Give me a month-over-month chart of my average ticket," right? And how it's trending over, and then it just looks at this and just gives it to you, right? Without you having to file a report or anything like that. Just boom, here it is, right? And so we're very excited about that.
Mind-blowing.
No, would not have been possible without a tool like ServiceTitan that came into the market because, you know, if you have crappy data in, you're going to get crappy answers out. But getting contractors to deploy with ServiceTitan and put all the data in there, that's so crucial, because without that, it wouldn't have been possible.
The best thing about you and Rilla is like, you are not just stopping there, that okay, you launch this product and done. You're always coming up with ideas, and, you know, coming up with you know, new things to implement and making product better and better for home service industry. That's massive.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta say, go ahead. I gotta say, like, we gotta wrap up soon, but like, I just want to say that, since I can say this now, because I've had the pleasure of like going through all the different softwares that maybe claim to do things like this on my end, and actually having to use it for coaching, and working at Service MVP. You know, Rilla is the only AI home service software.
Yes.
It's the only one. I'll just say that as a third party. I mean, because I've looked at everyone now, so fuck it. I mean, I could say it's fine. It's just the only one that, because every time I download anything or that I use any home service AI software, it is not AI. It's not AI. It's like transcriptions and stuff like that, right? So this is actually what AI is, and it's the only one that currently exists that is relevant for home service contractors that want to perform, virtual ride-alongs, do call-by-call management, so on and so forth. So I could just say that. I'll close out with that, just like with a mic drop sort of thing. Hopefully I don't get canceled or anything. But
no BS, no BS AI. Real AI.
I thank you for saying that. I think I think our if it was really fun. I saw actually Joe the other day. He literally posted a question. I felt very grateful in that moment. I don't like to say that I never like to say I'm proud, because I don't think being proud is a good thing. I think makes you like a little bit.
That's solid.
I always say like I always like to say I was very grateful in that moment that Joe Crisera, he posted on Facebook. He's like, "What do you guys think about doing AI coaching for in-home appointments?" And oh my God, man! And I showed it to my team, and I showed it to all our engineers. Like, guys, this is why we are here, because all of our customers were just like, "Oh, you're talking about Rilla, yeah, Rilla this." Because
what else is there? That's an AI host.
And it was. I felt so good in that moment, man. I felt so grateful, and I think again, there's a lot of things that had to happen right for us to be able to do this. Like, ServiceTime's been a great partner. Without the work that they did, probably Rilla would not be possible without the work that they did in bringing technology to the industry way before we did. And our great customers, right? We've only built an awesome product because we have some of the top customers in the country giving us feedback, and like people like Tommy Mello and Aaron Gaynor and FH Fur and Mr. Sparky, like all these customers have been awesome. My favorite thing in the world, I was just telling you, Shreya, before this, that I was just traveling to. I was in Oklahoma, then I was in Louisiana, and I just love spending my time visiting customers, and so. I'm glad and I'm thankful that it shows in the product, because we really care about making an awesome product. So
it shows, and you truly cares, like like this
And obviously we're going to have you on the show many more times, because with AI there's really fast updates and like crazy stuff going on that we want to hear about. But what's the best way for the listeners to get a demo of Rilla? We're going to connect a link below and everything like that, but is it through the link?
Yeah. So if people go to Rilla.com, that's RILLA.com, and you click on the book a demo link, you can book a demo for you and maybe some other people in your company. The demos are obviously it's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's really a call where we try to understand if Rilla is going to be a good fit for you. I would say, like, if you have a solid process and you're trying to scale it, or you're just implementing a process and you're trying to make sure that people are adopting it, and you have some sort of coaching structure already in the company, Rilla is going to work wonders for you, right? And if you don't have any of those processes, I know great coaches out there. I know a guy. That can help you.
I know a guy too. Probably the same guy. Sounds fair. Sounds fair.
So yeah, but if you have a process, we're gonna try to see if Rilla is a good fit for you. And a lot of the times we tell people, like, hey, listen, Rilla is not a good fit for you right now, but we're gonna find out in the demo. Book a demo and you're gonna find out if it's a good fit. And if you're interested in learning about, we do a lot of insights that we found from all these conversations. We have a podcast. It's called the Rilla Labs. You can find us on the Rilla Labs on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, we'll link that.
And we invite great coaches. We have conversations about the science of selling and the science of service. So it's a fun time. So
awesome. Thanks so much for coming on again, and thank you again to all the listeners that give us so much support. And we will see you next time.
Thank you,
Sebastian.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.